Okay, we're here at the end of August, another hot day, out here doing habitat when we have a chance to do habitat. A lot of guys ask me when's the best time of the year, and you know, with limited schedules, this is it here at the end of August. So what we've done here is made a habitat trail from dominant buck bedding on the next ridge over, and then our food plots are behind me here on this ridge. It's a lot of short little ridges here. The deal, we would have a staging area closer to the food plot. We're probably 75 yards to 100 yards back off of it, but we have a big ravine here. So this is where they had naturally been staging up in the past. They have slowed down on that because the vegetation had got up too big for them to rub on and had opened up. They didn't feel quite as secure. They didn't have any daytime food in here. So what we've done is we've come in, we've made it more like a park-like scenario in here in this situation because we're wanting to make this a social area. We're wanting them to come out of the darker timber and this be the first place that they run into several other deer. So we're going to get some food in here. This year we've come in late in the year, we're doing radishes and buck forage oats. We don't have a whole lot of sunlight in here, but we're going to get some food to grow. The radishes will do fine in here. It's going to help us bust the soil apart. Again, as we've cut these trees, we started on the outside edge about waist or a little higher, and then we worked our way in to cut them completely off. So by doing that, we've taken the debris from inside and basically made a wall all the way around it to restrict their access. We want to restrict the access so we have them headed, coming and going the way we want them on the property. And in this staging area, the things that are important are, we want water, which we have down here behind us. We want licking branches, which I'm going to show you how to make some here in a second. We want a few rub trees, security, a little bit of food in here, but we don't want a great food plot because we don't want the deer holding here, and we're not going to have a great food plot. This is probably an eighth of an acre maybe. About a 25-yard circle is about what I want. Now in the future we might take a few more of these trees out. The reason I've left the ones in here now that we have is they're nice straight, and they're going to be log trees one of these days. So I'll show you here what I've done is I've taken two small saplings and tied them across the top together to secure them, and then I've taken my shovel and dug out a flat spot here, usually about 1.5 feet across the circle. To get this used quicker by deer, I could go ahead and urinate it in it myself. I see no other reason to spend any money on products. Buck Fever is a synthetic that I know actually works. Oat Smokies, you could put it up here on the licking branch, and it's another product that I know works. We'll put several of these in. Here will be the next one here. And again, I made the flat spot right below it. This is on our trail. But I'll come over here to this one to show you, demonstrate. So we just take a small sapling, and because they were in here too thick, they're real flexible. We can bend them real easy. I want these limbs at shoulder height. So I'll just tie this against another one to hold it where I want it. And then go out here behind underneath these, break them at shoulder height, and then make a flat spot there. It's just that simple. Deer are very, very visual animals. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but this is a pretty simple one here and effective. So again, at shoulder height, I'm going to make a double here. So we want this to be the visual. We don't want any debris at all on this. And if I was going to do this early in the year, I'd have some type of chemical in here for ground clear. But because of the fact we're at the end of August, we're not going to have much vegetation regrow and cause us any trouble in this. Now, typically we want to start these scrapes middle of June. The importance about a scrape is having it here year after year after year, because in nature, rarely does that happen. When a limb is pointed at the ground, it's not getting the sunlight it needs, and because of that, the leaves start dying off on it and it deteriorates. So if we can, in the future, if we have to, come in and make an artificial situation where we could take like a cedar tree limb, tie it to the tree and point it out, or a grapevine, tie it up high and hang it over top of this. But we want this spot to continuously be a scrape over the next several years. And again, in nature, that rarely happens. there's other things that you could do. I got an example of just taking a log and you tie it here and weigh the tree down with just tying a piece of log to it. You can pound an anchor into the ground. Some guys do trapping anchors. I don't really see the need when I have dead logs laying around everywhere, and I can just cut a 2-foot piece section of it and tie it here. But this is a typical staging area. Very important spot to hunt. Now we're not going to hunt this one for the next couple of years. We really don't have a tree stand spot here. We might go with a ground blind in the future, but this is just to connect the trap that we have back over here, because we have a stand close to the bedding, and our water situation and our food plots. So we're connecting everything on the property together to make those big loops for those big mature bucks.